I'm sure by now we've all seen the tweet put out by the Elden Ring Twitter introducing us to the new enemy we'll be facing in the Land of Shadow. The DLC is fast approaching, and the trickle of images we've been getting has been very exciting. Clearly FromSoft is poised to keep us on our toes leading up to June 21st, as they show us just how horrifying and Bloodborne-like these new enemies will be. I initially thought I'd avoid making any content around this, as one image surely isn't enough to go on to do any true lore diving. That said, some of the discourse around this enemy has been really interesting, and while examining it, a thought occurred to me about what this thing could truly be. And I don't believe anyone on YouTube has brought up this possibility yet. Just to be clear, this is not going to be an official episode of Elden Lore, because it's entirely speculation on my part. But if I'm right, it could make for some exciting new concepts around the Omen that we may be exploring once we make our way to the Land of Shadow. One of the first things we all collectively called out about the creature in this image is its association with the Omen, and the greater presence the Omen seemed to have in the Land of Shadow. First we saw the Chinese dragon-like boss monster we would be fighting covered in golden hair and Omen horns, with darkened limbs just visible behind its robes. And now we have this more humanoid Omen, wearing a golden mask with its white hair pouring from its eye, and similar blackened skin. There have been connections drawn between this new creature and the corpse of Godwyn the Golden, due to the similar poses they seem to be in, but myself and others in the community believe there is likely no strong tie between the two due to the nature of the Omen. Omen are born from souls who have somehow been touched by the primordial crucible, and as far as we know, this isn't the case for Godwyn the Golden. His twin brothers, Morgott and Mohg, were both Omen, but he himself was a shining ray of light, born with his mother's golden hair, and presumably his father's strength, as he led many battles in the war against the dragons, even defeating Fortisax. After the death of his soul at the hands of the Black Knife assassins, his body grew and spread death throughout the land, and took on a more fish-like appearance underground, far from the visual motifs of an Omen. So if this creature is not of some kind of relation to Godwyn, what else could it be? Given what we've seen of the Chinese dragon Omen creature from the trailer, it seems possible this enemy could be a second phase to that boss battle. The darkened skin and arched back would match well with what we've gleaned of these unseen 3 Omen standing on each other's backs to pilot this weapon capable of utilizing the yellow lightning of dragons. If this enemy were part of a Phase 2 boss fight, where we destroy the dragon, but the creatures beneath still linger, it's possible we'll be fighting 3 of these chakram-wielding Omen at the same time. A terrifying notion, considering that they're likely able to attack from a distance with these weapons. I'd also like to point out the possibility that this could be a unique boss fight all to itself, not simply the Phase 2 of another encounter. Or these could simply be very imposing enemies we'll encounter without being their own individual boss fight. It really is too soon to say in what capacity we will be fighting this enemy, but I do think there's actually mention of it already in Elden Ring. There are only so many item descriptions that tell us about the Omen, but the Omen Killer mask may hold the key to unraveling who this new enemy may be. Its description tells us it's a mask with long, hideously twisted horns worn by the Omen Killers, bears the smirking face of an elder twisted in wicked delight. This visage is carved in the image of the evil spirits that haunt the Omen in their nightmares. What if these creatures are the evil spirits that haunt the Omen? The basis for the Omen Killer mask first crafted by Rollo himself. In a video coming out this week, I'm going to make my case for why I believe the Land of Shadow is hidden beneath a veil of sleep, and can only be reached by those in deep slumber. And if that is the case, then these creatures could very well be what strikes fear into the hearts of the Omen we encounter on our journey. We know that this flavor text can be taken literally, because it's actually possible to come across a sleeping Omen in the Altus Plateau, after defeating the Magmaware Makar. After disembarking the elevator and stepping foot in the plateau, we're met with a significant amount of black caravans, and patrolling around them is an Omen. If we pay attention to our surroundings, we can find a sleeping omen on top of one of these caravans, and we can tell it's dealing with some kind of nightmare, as it's clearly in distress. This would imply that whenever an omen falls asleep, they're plagued by visions of these evil spirits residing within the land of shadow, a land that those who have not crossed the veil can only interact with while under the influence of a deep slumber. I believe this is who these new enemies truly are, a purer form of Omen, or a progenitor to what the Omen are now. They're slightly more human in appearance, but they still sprout the Omen horns from their heads, and we can assume that they still have more telltale traces of their Omen heritage on their face, as they're covering it with their golden mask. As for why these creatures wear gold masks as well as gold bracers, I think this can be chalked up to them being prevalent in the Land of Shadow before Marika came to power and made gold the symbol of her faith, but we'll have to wait and see on that. This is simply one theory as to who or what this enemy could be, as I don't think FromSoft would drop any big secrets or surprises in their marketing leading up to the release of Shadow of the Erdtree. They have a great track record of saving their best reveals for once we're actually playing the game, so I'm willing to bet they wouldn't show us anything of too much significance before June 21st, outside of Mesmer the Impaler. With that in mind, while this new fearsome foe looks imposing, and will definitely be a great challenge for our Tarnished to overcome, I don't believe they will have too strong a connection to the larger story of the DLC. Instead, their overall lore will help to flesh out the history of the Omen, and reveal them to be the horrifying progenitors that plague the Omen in their dreams to this very day. I do, however, hope that they're able to drop those chakrams, because I love the concept of these as a new weapon type. So what do you think these enemies will be when we finally get to face them? Are they the second phase of the Omen Dragon battle, revealing themselves from beneath the robes of their massive lightning-wielding puppet? Are they the original Omen, and the horrifying image that plagues the Omen of the Lands Between in their nightmares? Are they connected to Godwyn the Golden in some way? Or are they something entirely new, unconnected from any enemy we've seen thus far? Let us know your thoughts and theories in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell, and set notifications to all so you never miss out on any of our Elden Ring content. We'll see you this weekend when we explore the possible connection between the Land of Shadow and the Realm of Sleep during our next episode of Elden Lore.